Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Said, I'm not going to pay for this until it's done right and whatever, and I can't afford it. So they kind of got mad and said, well, if you're not going to pay for it, we're not coming.
A Jamestown woman is frustrated. She has all the supplies needed to fix a hole in her roof, but no one to do it.
She tells us she hired someone to fix it and has been forced to wait for the work to get done. That's why she contacted our whistleblower hotline and shared her story with Valley News Team's Melanie Palmer.
Never put it on my house.
For Julie Lendy, she's still waiting on the contractor she hired 3 months ago. And she tells us she's getting sick of it.
Finally just got kind of upset and just said, well, if you're not going to do it, just please come and get your crap out of here.
Julie tells us she contacted a business called Your Home Improvement Company in April. And she says they came out to her home with an estimate that wasn't cheap.
It started really high. I can't remember if it was 36, 38,000, and then they got all the way down to almost 21,000.
Still, she wanted the job done. They wrote a new contract saying the work would be completed in 6 to 10 weeks. But that time has come and gone, and the work still isn't done. They did drop off the shingles, among other things, at the end of May.
They put it here about the 23rd of May, and I haven't heard anything.
And Julie says they've been calling almost every day, saying they're coming, but don't show up.
They just told me I had to pay regardless, whether they came and got the stuff or not.
And while all of this is going on, her family is also concerned about the price.
My son said, this ain't too good.
So we went to a local contractor and showed him what we learned. Dave McCracken has owned J&J Repairs and Roofing for almost 50 years now. And he tells us he has some issues with the cost.
That's a $8,500 roof. Really? Yes, ma'am. That's 23 square. It's under $10,000 job.
And McCracken says, in his opinion, the shingles should get off the yard or they'll kill the grass. Now, Julie's concerns have not fallen on deaf ears. We talked with the Your Home Improvements corporate office. They tell us an installer was scheduled to come out in June, but for one reason or another, they didn't show up. And they say they're working to get someone out there now. In Jamestown, Melanie Palmer, Valley News Live.
What should you do if you find yourself in this type of a situation? Experts tell us to get quotes from a number of different contractors before making a decision. If the project hasn't been started in the set time frame, cancel the agreement and find a new contractor. And make sure the business is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. The BBB tells us Your Home Improvement is accredited by them, but they encourage people to file any complaints with them. Also check out customer reviews and ask for references. As mentioned, this story came to us through our whistleblower hotline. So if you need help with a serious issue in your community, call 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it.
A woman is heading to the hospital after her vehicle crashed through the ice rink at Whistle Stop Park this afternoon in Dilworth. Witnesses say an older woman was driving down First Avenue, couldn't stop, and crashed into the rink. They say the woman seemed disoriented after the crash. Police say they expect to have the investigation wrapped up tomorrow.
The fight over the rights of students with special needs and aggressive behaviors in Fargo continues. Right now, more than a dozen parents are at the Fargo School Board meeting sharing testimonies from families and students on the district's use of seclusion and restraint against students and how these practices are inconsistent with the district's policies and state and federal laws. Seclusion rooms like this one seen in this video have prompted numerous complaints from parents. They say school staff needs more training so kids aren't traumatized. We'll hear from some of the parents tonight on Valley News Live at 9 on Fargo CW and Valley News Live at 10.
After last night's stormy weather, we're catching a little break today, but this week the heat and humidity and storms are never too far away. Let's check in with Hutch to find out about this evening. Hutch?
Yes, more thunderstorms are firing out to the west, where once again it could be an active night. This evening in our neck of the woods, though, fairly quiet. A couple blips on the radar screen near Towner County. Out to the west, the real deal is starting to fire up in eastern Montana. This will be moving in our general direction, but you don't have to worry about this evening. Overnight, though, we could see some stout thunderstorms anywhere you see the dark green shades from the Highway 2 corridor down through Bismarck. The best chance, though, of severe weather tonight where it hit last night. Temperatures will be very comfortable in the 70s. It'll be breezy from the southeast for most of our evening. There will be a threat for some overnight thunderstorms, as we talked about, moving in from Montana. I'll have details on that. Our better chance of severe weather will come tomorrow night. Details on that here in a few moments as well.
Okay, thank you, Hutch. And make sure you can get the forecast when you need it with the latest version of the Valley News Live Storm Team weather app. You'll get your forecast as well as weather alerts on the go to help you plan your day and keep your family safe. Download the latest version for free so you don't miss important alerts. Just search VNL Weather in your app store.
The mother of a 4-month-old boy found dead in Stutsman County is being held on a $56 bond on warrants unrelated to the child's death. 25-year-old Justice Lange is at the Stutsman County Correctional Center on various outstanding warrants and unpaid court fines. She was released from a Fargo hospital last night. The body of the missing baby was found Saturday afternoon near a slough in rural Stutsman County. Investigators are awaiting autopsy results before recommending charges to the county prosecutor.
The man involved in an hours-long standoff with police in Grand Forks has died. Authorities say there was some sort of medical incident last night at the jail, and 36-year-old Samuel Nelson is dead. A check of dispatch logs shows a report of an unconscious or unresponsive person at the jail around 7:25 last night. Officials are waiting on autopsy results to know the cause of death. Nelson was taken into custody after a standoff that prompted a shelter in place for people in Grand Forks at an apartment building there yesterday. He was eventually arrested on previous warrants.
The officers and the victim involved in the deadly Grand Forks shooting over the weekend have been identified. 41-year-old John Francis Murphy III was the man killed. The two officers involved were Officer Michael Ruitt and Corporal Jordan Dries. Authorities tell us the victim was armed and was accompanied by an armed woman who dropped her weapon when ordered by the officers. Murphy did not drop his weapon, and police say they felt his action posed a threat to their safety.
Here's an alert for people in Grand Forks about a high-risk sex offender recently released from prison who is now living in that area. Authorities say 32-year-old Michael McGee is currently living at 18.5 North Washington Street. He was convicted of aggravated sexual assault in 2003. When McGee was 15 years old, he and an accomplice entered a woman's bedroom, held her down, and forcibly raped her. He must register for a lifetime.
In North Dakota, voter turnout is always the highest in November because of the statewide and national elections. The state's Government Administration Committee is considering moving municipal and county elections to November to have greater voter participation.
If you are a compelling candidate or there's a compelling issue on the ballot, that drives turnout. And I don't think there's anything that the government can do to force election turnout, and there probably shouldn't be.
In the June election, voter turnout was about 20% statewide.
Later on Valley News Live at 6, an update on damage and the people injured in that tornado that rolled through an RV park in Watford City.
Up next, a random heroic act that saved a child from a potentially deadly situation.